Hello everyone, we are Group 9 and today we'll be presenting our Lab 2 project which focuses on understanding dual task performance using Tetris as our primary task. Our team members are Tanisha, Amelia, Luca, Pranav and Bharati. Let's begin by looking at the motivation behind this experiment. To start, the main motivation for this hit study comes from the idea that human attention is a limited resource. Whenever we try to perform multiple tasks at the same time and these tasks share the same cognitive resources, this leads to interference or performance decline. Dual task experiments like ours help us understand how workload increases when tasks compete for the same mental resources. Our objective in this study was to examine how introducing a secondary task affects performance in Tetris, something that already requires visual spatial processing and quick decision making. This ties directly into Wickens' multiple resource theory, which suggests that tasks interfere with each other when they draw from the same pool of cognitive resources.
For the method of this experiment, we used three conditions. First was a baseline condition where the participants only played Tetris to establish a player's Tetris abilities independently. Then we had a competing dual task condition where the participants played both Tetris and a similar visual spatial game, Royal Match. And finally, our non-competing dual task had the participants play Tetris while answering basic single-digit math problems. These math problems were asked and answered verbally so as to not compete with the visual spatial game Tetris. Our procedure was a within subjects design where we counterbalanced the order of conditions between different participants, and we gave the participants 3 minutes to complete each condition. For data collection, we had 6 participants who each completed all 3 conditions, and we recorded performance metrics such as Tetris score, levels completed, lines broken, whether or not Royal Match level 1886 was cleared, and how many math questions were answered correctly.
Now we break down the total unweighted mental workload scores for each participant across the 3 conditions. Starting with the baseline condition, we see scores ranging from 15 to 70, which reflect natural variation in mental workload among participants without any competitive pressure. And in the non-compete condition, scores increase for most participants. For example, participant 2 goes from 70 to 85 and participant 6 from 35 to 45, which indicates that additional mental effort, even in a non-competitive environment, was required. Finally, in the compete condition, the scores are the highest, ranging from 50 to 100. This confirms the pattern observed in the graphs, which is that introducing competition significantly increases cognitive demand across almost all participants. We present the mental workload results for our participants across 3 conditions: baseline, non-compete, and compete. On the left, we can see individual NASA TLX scores for each participant. The colors indicate the different conditions: blue for baseline, pink for non-compete, and teal for compete. From these graphs, it's clear that mental workload increases as participants move from the baseline condition to the non-compete condition and further increases in the compete condition. In other words, as competitive pressure increases, participants experience higher cognitive demand. The graph on the right summarizes the average scores across all participants. Again, we can observe a clear trend. Baseline workload is the lowest, non-compete is higher, and compete condition has the highest average workload.
So the final conclusion was that average Tetris performance was highest in the single task, the baseline condition. The performance decreased when participants performed Royal Match simultaneously, which is the competing task. Minimal performance drop was observed during order trivia, which was the non-competing task. The data supports the hypothesis that tasks sharing the same resource dimensions interfere more significantly with each other. The Tetris and the Royal Match caused interference, while Tetris and audio trivia did not. This confirms the prediction was based on Wickens' multiple resource theory. Finally, the real-world applications could be driving when the spatial visual manual task is involved, and voice controls reduce interference. This multitasking hurts when the resources are shared amongst each other. The other examples could be aviation and control rooms, where pilot manage many concurrent tasks, separates sensory channels, and prevents overload of a single resource pool. Next can be an example of human-computer interactions, wherein multimodal interfaces distribute workload. Example, voice plus touch plus visual feedback equals lower cognitive conflict. Finally, automation and workflow designs, where multiple resource theory guides task scheduling to limit overlap. This predicts operator fatigue and interference in high-demand environments. Thank you.